Deep within your weary soul, you have been silently carrying the heavy, exhausting weight of passing judgments from people who only looked at the worn exterior of your life. The world consistently evaluates you based on a superficial street view, merely glancing at the parts of you that difficult seasons have visibly weathered, and drawing fragile conclusions from what is most easily accessible. Over time, after absorbing enough of their careless glances and misguided conclusions, you have quietly begun to see yourself through that exact same worn paint lens. But I am speaking directly to your weary spirit today to completely shatter that illusion, because the creator of the universe has absolutely never used that external lens on you. He sees you purely from inside the walls, because he majestically built you from the inside out with deliberate, patient, and inexhaustible love. You are like a profoundly significant house. You were absolutely not thrown together in a moment of creative imprecision, but built intentionally with the full weight of divine attention focused on every single detail. The Almighty poured your foundation so incredibly deep that no surface disruption, no matter how severe, can ever reach what is most essential about your identity. He specifically chose your materials because he perfectly knew they could hold strong under the heavy pressure of storms that had not even arrived yet. You must permanently stop accepting a painfully small assessment of yourself based on a partial tour of something that has not yet been fully explored. There are majestic rooms within you that you have not yet entered, and doors that will soon open to reveal massive portions of your capacity and purpose that were safely sealed just for this exact season. When the architect laid your plans, he absolutely did not work from a generic template or merely check boxes against a standard list of acceptable qualities. Every single detail of your being was meticulously considered and beautifully designed. The specific way your mind moves through a complex problem, the unique texture of compassion that belongs only to you, and the quiet, persistent courage that simply gets up and keeps going when getting up is genuinely difficult. The world selfishly rewards what is loud and easily categorized. And when your profound gifts do not fall into those shallow categories, the accumulation of that rejection can falsely feel like a devastating verdict. The people who dismissed your value were evaluating you with incomplete information, measuring you against a rigid standard that heaven never set, and applying a fragile framework of value that has absolutely nothing to do with how the Father calculates worth. When the Creator looks at you, He does not run a generic comparison to see where you rank among others. He looks at you specifically, completely undistorted by the noise of other people's assessments, and He sees someone profoundly worth every bit of what it costs to keep you. His majestic love for you is not small, it is not moderate, and it absolutely does not wait to see how things develop before committing fully. His love was total before you even drew your first breath, and it will effortlessly remain total in every single moment that follows. This is not just a pleasant closing statement. It is the unshakable foundation and the solid ground that everything else in your majestic life is securely built upon. You must deeply and soberly understand that there is an enormous, critical difference between the divine purpose He built into you and the heavy things you have been picking up along the way. You have become a person who is carrying vastly more than you were designed to carry, not because you are weak, but because you possess broad enough shoulders that people have comfortably placed their burdens on them without ever asking permission. The people in your early life placed their own profound fears, their own heavy disappointments, and their own unresolved struggles onto your structure. and you absorbed those false conclusions as if they were your own. You have been carrying the chronic, low-grade sense that you are always slightly less than acceptable, leading to the exhausting reflex of making yourself smaller before anyone even asks you to. I declare over your life today that absolutely none of that toxic weight came from the hand of the architect. The Almighty is beautifully and patiently removing those improper additions from your structure, not through a destructive demolition, but through a majestic, true restoration. His divine work in you is not optimized for a rushed, artificial timeline. It is perfectly optimized for incredible depth and thoroughness. Before we move deeper into the magnificent reality of His unshakable grace and how He repurposes your past, I need you to completely release this false weight. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this heavy prophetic broadcast and make this bold, audible declaration of faith to permanently anchor your soul. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding authority. I release the false weight, and I rest in His perfect design. When you vocalize that profound submission, you are firmly dismantling the fragile illusions of human judgment, permanently proving to the spiritual realm that your mind is deeply resting in the unshakable, majestic architecture of the living God. You have quietly carried the heavy belief that your years of inconsistency have somehow moved the Creator away from you, privately worrying that your unsaid prayers caused a permanent distance. You have let the word failure attach itself permanently to certain choices that produced heavy outcomes you did not intend, carrying a residue of sadness that settles deeply into your bones. But the Almighty absolutely does not use the word failure to describe your life. He uses majestic words like evidence, material, divine preparation, and solid foundation. He looks at the heavy chapters and sees the precise experiences that built a specific, profound understanding within you that an easy life could never have produced. He sees the exact places where the gap between your intention and your outcome beautifully revealed your need for Him. You are absolutely not the sum of the moments that did not go the way you wanted, and you are not defined by the distance between what you reached for and what you were able to grasp. The very fact that you keep reaching, even when the immediate results do not justify your persistence, is the profound evidence of a calling and the majestic echo of divine purpose. Every accusation that tried to permanently write shame into your fabric met a divine barrier placed around your identity, and the voices that told you that your best effort fell short were simply working with dangerously incomplete information. Your story is currently in an active, building chapter where things that have been prepared in invisible places are about to magnificently rive invisible ones. I know the specific, quiet grief that comes from loving people deeply and not being loved back in kind, from constantly showing up and finding your generous consistency met with heavy indifference. You have rationally learned to guard the places you are most tender, slowly closing off certain doors within your soul because operating at full capacity simply felt dangerous in those draining environments. The Creator completely understands why you built that protection. It was a reasonable survival instinct responding to the wrong conditions. But the majestic doors He built into your particular structure were absolutely not designed to be permanently closed. New, beautiful conditions are arriving where your specific way of loving will finally find the true reciprocation it never found in the heavy seasons. He is actively sending relationships of alignment toward you that are perfectly designed to fit, to complement, and to beautifully restore the deep emotional reserves you have been drawing down. You must begin to slowly allow the reopening of those closed doors, starting by bringing the full, unedited interior of your life directly to the Father. His majestic love is absolutely not a fragile response to your behavior. It is a permanent, irreversible decision about your identity that was established before you drew your first breath. Even the version of yourself that you have been most afraid to bring the tired, confused, and inconsistent version will find complete, unshakable acceptance in His majestic presence. He decided you were completely worth staying for before you even existed, and He has been faithfully staying through every single heavy chapter of your life. Now, you must finally address the specific weight of what you have been calling your fault, that heavy stone of regret you carry as a quiet form of accountability. You are permanently allowed to put that stone down, because the immense cost of releasing you from that heavy failing was completely absorbed by a love that found the price acceptable. The weight of what you have done belongs to a divine system that has already perfectly processed it, and you have been declared beautifully and completely free. When you continue to carry it, you are dangerously adding a burden to your weight-bearing walls that the architect never intended. Then to hold, placing heavy stress on a structure meant for peace. Let the majestic builder have the absolute responsibility for what your life is becoming. Before we move into the final majestic phase of this divine construction, I need you to completely surrender that heavy stone. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this profound prophetic message and make this bold, audible declaration of faith to permanently break the chains of regret. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding authority. I drop the heavy stone, and I walk in His absolute freedom. When you vocalize that profound submission, you are firmly rejecting the fragile illusions of permanent guilt, proving to the spiritual realm that your identity is completely secured in the limitless grace of the living God. Asterisk. You must keep both hands completely free from the heavy burdens of the past, because the magnificent provision and open doors are actively approaching someone who is ready and moving toward them. What heaven has prepared for you is profoundly better than what your closed season suggested, and vastly greater than the diminished, reduced version of hope you quietly settled for to protect yourself from further disappointment. You must actively expand the container of what you are willing to believe for, stepping boldly into the majestic territory of what His unshakable promises require. The Creator intimately sees every unanswered question, every lingering fear, and every relationship still carrying a fracture, and He is actively working right now in the exact locations where your resistance has been most consistent and the weight has been heaviest. His majestic work always begins in the invisible, deep structural places long before the surface of your life shows any visible evidence of what is happening underneath. He is inviting you into a beautiful, simple daily practice of remembering, where you actively look for His magnificent fingerprints in the completely ordinary, unremarkable moments of your everyday existence. When you train your attention to notice the unexpected provision and the quiet peace that arrived when rest seemed impossible, you position yourself to receive the extraordinary. You have quietly wondered under the accumulated weight of your waiting if your prayers are actually going anywhere. But I declare to you that every single word, every desperate midnight reaching, and every quiet expression of what you needed has absolutely reached Him. Even the prayers that felt incredibly thin, where doubt was present alongside your asking, were completely received, because the simple act of turning toward Him is a profound acknowledgement of His supreme capacity. The costly, Sustained prayers you have faithfully prayed for the people you love are received in heaven as the most genuine expressions of pure love, and His magnificent work on behalf of those people is powerfully in progress. Even when it feels slow, you must completely reject the internal voices that falsely tell you your best is not enough, or that you possess some fundamental deficiency. Those voices are a complete forgery measuring you against a standard the architect never set. The truth is that you have majestically persisted through genuine darkness, and that profound capacity to keep reaching is the exact, beautiful material He is using to construct your next glorious chapter. In any construction of significance, the foundation and framing phases often look like an incomplete work in progress from the outside. But the master architect has absolutely not lost his vision for your life. The heavy clearing you endured was profoundly purposeful, making massive, beautiful space for the relationships, encounters, and provisions that your old, burdened structure simply could not accommodate. The underground work has been completely finished. The unshakable foundation is set, and what is coming next will majestically break the surface of your life in ways that will make the last season completely make sense in retrospect. Your scars are absolutely not your shame. They are the magnificent record of a love that stayed with you through every difficult chapter and carried you through what you could never have survived alone. You absolutely matter to the Creator not as a generic category, but as a specific, known, and deeply loved person whose ordinary days are precious, whose unimpressive offerings are received with gladness, and whose tears are carefully counted. You are completely seen, you are profoundly known, and you are eternally loved in a way that nothing in your history can ever reduce sight. For, before this profound prophetic broadcast concludes, I need you to permanently seal this massive revelation into your internal spiritual architecture. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this heavy message and make this final, bold, audible declaration of faith to completely dissolve the shadows of inadequacy forever. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding, and supreme authority. I am perfectly built, and my best chapters are breaking the surface. When you vocalize that sacred submission, you are firmly closing the heavy door on the illusions of failure, permanently proving to the spiritual realm that you are walking forward as a deeply loved, heavily anchored, and perfectly constructed masterpiece of the living God. If this magnificent message touched your heart today, immediately share it with someone who desperately needs to hear these words and be reminded of their divine worth. Type Amen in the comments right now to permanently receive this blessing and seal this unshakable truth into your life. Leave your specific prayer requests down below, because you are absolutely not alone in what you are carrying, and our spiritual community stands powerfully with you. If you are ready to go even deeper with what heaven is speaking over your life, there is a powerful devotional created specifically for you waiting at the link in the description. It carries extended prayers, majestic declarations, and profound reflections designed to help you build the unshakable practice of receiving everything the Creator has prepared for you. You completely deserve to walk in the absolute fullness of what this divine love has made available. Take the next step. Subscribe to this channel to stay anchored in His truth and rest in His perfect, unseen architecture. *.